is going on, everyone? My name is Milmith, and this is going to be my first video for my YouTube channel. Today, we are just going to be talking about World of Warcraft, more specifically Cataclysm. And this is an expansion that I did not play back in the day, so it brings me joy to actually get to enjoy some of this pre-patch here, as I think everyone else is, judging by how many people are walking around and are on the /who. So, I have two different lists here that I'm going to jot down. One's the good points and one's the bad points. This video is just going to cover essentially what I think as far as my experience goes and what I think the experience of others will be, such as people getting back into it, maybe people who never actually played World of Warcraft or just played like I did, played Classic and then stepped away for a good long time, and then coming back to play now because everyone's playing it, so it's fun, right? So again, I got some points, so we're just going to really delve into this here. So I'm going to start off with, unfortunately, one of the bad points, because not to give any spoilers out, this is not going to persuade me in any different direction, but I do have, unfortunately, a little bit more bad points than I did for the good points, and we'll get into that reason here shortly. So first bad point is going to be the auction house is super expensive, and I was purchasing a glyph, and that was probably one of the few things I did purchase from the auction house, and it was about 60 to 70 gold, and it was a major glyph that I really did need. It was a glyph of Earth Shield, I want to say, so pretty important for me. But everything else, like the greens, the blues, everything is so expensive. And I do believe it's because of the inflation that's been hitting for expansions at this point. So I kind of understand it happening. I kind of expect it, I should say. But it's just, you would think that maybe you'll make a little bit more gold off the fact that since things are inflated, that you would make more gold, but that seems to not, unfortunately, be the case. At least for me. Again, I made more money selling the random odd end, gems that I would get from a dungeon, selling that on the auction house than I would actually get from most anything else. Thinking that you could make money off of transmog items doesn't happen at level 45, I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, it wasn't so bad. Again, really a minute point, but things are very expensive, and you can kind of feel that like retail kind of vibe happening where things are super expensive. First good point is the random dungeon finder is not bad. I had some good experiences with it where I met a couple cool people and we basically just hammered through some dungeons, a couple good players. But all in all, it is still the same old that we appreciate / disdain from retail WoW, where, we have RDF and unfortunately people join in, they're mute apparently, and they just don't even want to talk. They don't even want to listen. I do have some bad points about this that I'll get into here in a second, as far as why RDF was not necessarily the greatest. But I do believe this is just kind of a common occurrence of what people are like nowadays. We're just so quick to want to be the most efficient thing possible. And I think that really just gets in the way, and we end up tripping over our own feet as far as enjoying ourselves with the game and really just conversing with people. I mean, again, this is an MMO. We deal with a lot of people. We should be able to talk to those people and kind of enjoy ourselves, right? I think that's kind of the point of it, so to speak. On to my next bad point is the game is super buggy, and what I mean by this is I have some jotted down. Strathome, which I have footage for here shortly, you can join, and everything is red to you. But the queue system says it's a yellow listed dungeon, not a green, not an orange, but yellow. So everything was red in there. It was very difficult. I know I had a tank that just really had a big ego, got smashed a couple times, just left for us to get another tank who was great. The completion's also bugged in Strathome. Talking about Strathome. If you kill the last boss, Baron Rivendare, he ends up, you can continue the dungeon. But there's nothing else to kill, just add-ons. Or ads, I should say. But the problem with this is that if you decide somebody leaves and you accidentally hit the look for more people, some poor sap joins in only to get slapped with a restriction on them because the dungeon's no more. There's nothing to kill. So unfortunately they leave and they sit, looking for specific queue or whatever the case might be. God bless, because I'm a healer and I get queues in like 60 seconds at most. The average DPS probably does not have that luxury like I do. So unfortunately, that was a nasty bug. Here's the dungeon itself. Again, fun time, but very buggy. The last bug that I do know of, and there's a handful more, but I didn't get this one, unfortunately, but there were people who were suffering from joining a battleground. I say suffering. Winning and leaving with 10 to 20 levels under their belts. So there are some things, right, that's need fixed by Blizzard. This is a common occurrence amongst things, you know, expansions, pre-patches stuff. So I do suspect this to get fixed here in the near future. My good point number 2 is classes feel fun, man. Classes feel great. A lot of the things that I enjoyed from, like, you know, later expansions where that classes seem more fleshed out, you know, they had shared toolkits essentially. What I mean by that is, like, most things had a speed boost, most things had a silence, most things had, you get the general gist. A lot of these classes ended up having this, which is great. I love that concept where you just feel strong. Not too strong. You can still get put in the dirt, but you felt pretty strong. As an example, playing a shaman, I liked how I had a lot of the toolkit of having earth shield, water shield. Obviously, I had most of my totems and whatnot. You could have like a button to drop all your totems and then receive them all again, so that you can get a portion of mana back. And it was just, honestly, the classes feel fun. I enjoy it, and I think it's a good place for the classes to be moving into cata. Obviously, Fury Warriors might disagree with me on this one, but actually, I have no idea how their output is. I just know a lot of Fury Warriors complained when cata back in the day released. So, but yeah, classes feel great. I really enjoyed it. Still enjoy it, I should say. Still are enjoying it, I should say. Am enjoying it? Are enjoying it? Whatever. I'm not cutting this out. Anyway, this is a very minute bad point, but I really wish the leveling process was faster. And I know that's like a big, you know, like, why are you complaining about leveling being slow? It's fine. Deal with, you know, it's not worse than what Classic was. I get that, but seeing as that it's a pre-patch and they gave us, you know, 15, 20 days or something like that to kind of level, I was really hoping for something more than a 10% buff, which is what I think we currently sit at. I was hoping for maybe more of a 25, 35%, or even at a certain level you would end up getting that. But unfortunately, it is just the 10%, and you know, you look at Season of Discovery, and they've got like a 100 to 300% boost right now. It's crazy. So I was hoping for something a little bit more along those lines. And since this is a slow notation, I'm going to move into my next bad point here. It feels like it's late in the game to be joining. And what I mean by this is that we've gone through how many expansions now, moving into cata. You know, you've missed killing Raggi, you've missed killing Illidan, you've missed killing Arthas potentially. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna go kill Deathwing. But the problem is, like, it does feel like a lot of people are so far ahead of you. Now, granted, this is a game where on the next expansion, everyone's gonna be evenly leveled. You know what I mean? Your gear, your epics from this expansion aren't gonna matter necessarily. But it does just feel a little wonky because, you know, people have mounts, people have heirlooms, people have, you know, gold, plunders of gold to send to people, to their alts, and you're just kind of sitting there twiddling your thumbs trying to catch up. So it could be worse, and when I say this, it's not too late, because this is what happened to a lot of people back in the day as well. You start playing World of Warcraft and you just picked it up at Wrath of the Lich King. That's what a lot of people had happen to them, right? So don't think that it's never too late to be picking up the game. As it is right now, I'm playing the game, I'm like level 48. I'm gonna hopefully leave in the description below what my opinion is at 80. But it's never too late, okay, with that being said. The game is a little bit on fast forward, and what I mean by that is we're not sitting 2 years for expansions like I think it used to be. We're sitting on about a year. It's not too bad, okay? So don't let that discourage you from hopping into it. Season of Discovery is currently seeming dead, and this is my good point. Not that Season of Discovery dying is a bad thing, or is a good thing, I should say. But since it is in a bit of a loo right now, we are needing something to do, and that's what Cataclysm's there for. There's so many people playing right now that if you go to Orgrimmar, you go to Stormwind, you go to Ironforge, these places are super, super lively, and it's really fun and entertaining. You're not waiting long for groups, hopefully. I don't know how it is for a DPS. I can assume not, though. I mean, regardless, there's so many freaking people playing right now. It's a fun time to play. You know, coming back to my auction house is expensive thing. It's full of things. Coming back to Random Dungeon Finder is not bad. There's so many people queuing for Random Dungeon Finder. So there is so many things to be doing in the game right now as far as like a catch-up method goes if you need to. But with this being said is that there is so much to do. If you are coming back to it, and there's so many people to help you with those things. It is a nice thing to see, and this happens with a lot of Blizzard games where things will release, people will come back and play, the game will slowly kind of die out. It happens with everything, right? But there is so many people playing right now. such a lively game right now. So this is going to be on the negative aspect of the random dungeon finder. And I wrote down here that nobody reads chat. There's been a couple times where I join a dungeon to have to step away really quickly to go, do this, that, and the other. And I'd say BRB 1 second. And the tank runs ahead and pulls 2 whole packs. And I'm like, come on, guys. Like, I understand that we've moved further as a group of people. The average group of people playing World of Warcraft, I think, are, but there's probably not too many people below the age of 25, I would assume. And if you are, cool, good for you. But I will say, I know the average people are probably around my age, where I'm 28. Some people are older than me. I was a young WoW player when I started playing back in vanilla WoW. So chat used to be a big thing. It's slowly dwindled. Again, the community aspect is just seemingly not there as much as it used to be. Sometimes you'll find it and it's great, but more often than not, you will not have people even uttering a single word inside of the party chat. And furthermore, nobody reads, apparently. Furthermore, people are just really greedy. I've had a lot of dungeons that people were just neat on things, like rogues needing for cloth gear that they definitely don't need, just to sell for some gold or something. I'm not understanding what the concept is for, just to kind of stifle another, what's technically should be your friend in a game, right? Even if it's just an acquaintance, they still should be somewhat of a friend, I gotta say. With this being said, it happens with every game. I understand. It just is very disheartening when it's an MMO that I hold dear and true to my heart, that I just don't feel like the community aspect's there as much anymore. And again, random dungeon finder probably does not help that so much. This is one of my good points. I don't think the game's gonna die upon arrival. I think a lot of people smack talk to Cataclysm like, oh, no one asked for this. Right, but you're all playing it right now. And this is my thought, that it's going to continue to play, and it's going to play well as we move forward. And I just know that the rating is going to be good. The dungeons are going to be good. I think that people are sleeping on Cataclysm. People are saying, I didn't want this. Well, you got it, because there was people that wanted just Burning Crusade who said, we don't want Wrath of the Lich King, and I guarantee you raided and you got illed and killed, and you had a fun time, right? So I don't think the game is going to die on arrival like a lot of people assume it will be. Just know that I think it's still going to be a very, very fun game. Another bad point, very minute bad point, is there's no specialization for the loot bags. So as a Resto Shaman, I think I can count on one hand. I know I can count on one hand. It might be 2 fingers, spoiler alert, that I actually got something that was useful for me. Most of the times it was something of the monkey, something of, you get the gist. It was something that had nothing to do with a Resto Shaman or an Elemental Shaman. And it was primarily just stuff that I could use if I was enhancement, but it was very unfortunate that I did these random dungeon finders. Most times, never getting anything I could even use. And no, it's not an off-spec piece for me. My off-spec is Elemental, even if I had to do it, because guess what? I don't have to do an off-spec. I'm going to do my last bad points, and then I have one last good point to go after here. And my last bad point is, and I didn't even have footage of it, but I'm embarrassed to put it on here. PvP is so infuriating. Getting one shot by Templar's Verdict, not fun. Just dying in a full rogue stun lock combo, not fun. Like, there's just a lot of things that weren't very fun. Hindsight, the game is incredibly balanced, which makes it fun. So I'm not super upset about it. I mean, I'm not going to say that I wasn't swearing when I was playing the Battleground, but I understand that it could have its point. If you're a rogue, you're probably having fun. If you're a paladin, you're probably having fun. If you're a healer, you're probably not having fun. Maybe a priest might. I don't know. Maybe bubbles just pop in 2 seconds. But yeah, PvP was not very fun for me. And again, it was just leveling as PvP. I would never touch 80 PvP if I didn't have gear for it, but assumedly at 85, everyone across the board should be kind of even. Shouldn't be too bad. I know there's going to be some busted classes, probably a DK, right? So, and my last good point here, and I'm super excited about this, just like everyone else will be, is if it hasn't been made clear, we're clearly getting Mist of Pandaria. And that was probably one of my favorite expansions, as a lot of people think the same, which is good, because a lot of people like either you're on one side of the fence or the other. Either you hated Mist of Pandaria, you loved it. I think it was a great expansion. and I honestly think that everyone should be looking forward to it because it was a really entertaining time. Classes were super fleshed out, and honestly, it was the case of like it was perfectly imbalanced, so it was balanced. Everyone was really busted, or at least had a couple busted things. So I think this is something that we should look forward to because we clearly are going to be getting it. Now, I don't know what's after that. That is, I guess, the last question that we should ask. Not just ourselves, but ask Blizzard. Is what are we getting after that? Because I know people said, oh, nobody asked for Cataclysm. Nobody's asking for Warlords of Draenor. So, it's a good question, but it's a question we'll ask them. Guys, this has been the end of the video. I appreciate you guys for sticking around for me. I didn't want to make this too long, but I wanted to make it long enough. This is actually, again, my first YouTube video. This is my first time really editing as well. So I hope it's not too terrible. I'm going to be continuing to make videos, and they're not just going to be about World of Warcraft. They're going to be about other different games as well. I have one coming up for Left 4 Dead, I believe, as well as one for 7 Days to Die coming after, because they're doing a whole final release, which is great and exciting. So stay tuned for that, guys. If you do like the video, please like it, please subscribe. You know, I'm really just trying to grow this channel because this has been a dream of mine for a long time, is to make content for everyone to enjoy, because for so many years I've gotten so much great entertainment from people. So this is the little bit that I want to do to give back, and hopefully, you know, you'll find yourself playing World of Warcraft and listening to me in the background, unfortunately talking. But again, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time. Hope the video was found interesting, and I'm sure there's so much more I could have added, but until next time, thank you all. Bye now.